Some really hard advice for your PhD interviews that I think it's important for everybody to know before they go into it. And you're probably not going to like it. And lots of you are probably going to say, well, that's really mean. But I think that this is going to change you and get you prepared for the career. Because I think you need to be well aware of the career in academia as a professor, or even if you go into the research arena within industry. It's a little easier in industry, but it's still going to be very tough. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Maslach. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I want to pay the favor for to help you out as much as I possibly can. So here's the thing. Academia, doing your PhD is very, very competitive. It is an arena that is more competitive than business. I'm afraid for people to understand this, but it drives a lot of terrible behaviors, not great behaviors, and you need to be well aware of this as you go into it. And I want to talk about some of those things today. So the first thing is that you have to realize nobody cares about you. The more that you get this hard shell, the quicker that you get that hard shell, and I know you don't want to hear that. And it was advice that was given to me long time ago. And I didn't want to hear it either. But the quicker you get that hard shell on you and you just become self-sufficient and you say, it's me against the world, and you care about you, the more likely, I know it sounds narcissistic, trust me, all of this stuff is not great, and that's why I'm talking about it. No one cares about you, and you have to maintain yourself. You have to make sure that you are healthy. You have to make sure that you are being a nice person, all of those kind of things. Everything else is not going to be given to you. It's going to be too competitive. And people are going to do, they're just going to look out for themselves. Unfortunately, it's a very tough arena. The second thing that I think that is, not great to talk about, but it should be out there, is that people are going to do things that are not pleasant to you. And you are going to think, well, why would they do that kind of thing? And what is that's going to happen? What were they thinking? And how come they're doing that? And the fact is, it's a competitive arena, and there's really nothing that you can do about it. And people are going to continue to do those things. And you simply have to just say, you know what? That's their problem doing those kind of things. I never did anything that was wrong. And you just have to keep moving forward and grow. You just have to suck it up and keep going. I know that is not a nice thing to hear, but it's very tough. The other thing that's going to happen is that, few people are ever going to say anything nice to you in their career. That none of the students are ever going to say anything nice to you. It's going to take an awful lot of work before they actually start saying things that are nice to you. And even if you're trying to help them get a good education, they're not going to say anything nice to you. Most of them are going to be upset with you. Most of the other faculty and all that kind of stuff are going to be upset with you in various different ways. And the only time that they're going to say anything that's nice to you and going to do things that are nice to you is if you're having a quote-unquote good year with your productivity. And all of a sudden, everybody's going to start paying attention to you, and you're going to be the most popular person on the block. It's the dynamics, it's very tippy dynamics, where nobody pays attention to you until everybody pays attention to you. And that tends to disappear unless you're a superstar. And then when you're a superstar, what's going to happen is you're going to keep getting resources given to you and opportunities given to you. But everybody else is not going to get those kind of opportunities. You have to be well aware of this. This is well documented. It's in the academic research. It's very well explained. It's called the Matthew effect. You can look at that. So you have to be very, very careful with this. And this is the fourth thing that you probably should be aware of, is that rankings, we're all ranked. Everything is very explicit. We are going to be ranked. You're going to be ranked against each other in terms of where you stand. And if you're not ranked at the top, good luck. It's not going to happen to you. However, those rankings are ranked, but most of the time they're ranked on the number of publications that you have. And you have to be very well aware of that. Everything is ranked in academia. It is very, very explicit with this. And so you have to be absolutely ready for it. It's tough, and people are not going to treat you nicely. Now, what do I think that you should do given this information? What I think you really need to think about, the very first thing that you should be thinking about going into your PhD interviews is, do you really want this in your career? Is this something that you actually want? And I know it's early on, and people might watch this, maybe they're in their first year or second year of their PhD program, and they're gonna say, hey, this is not the case at all. You just haven't been in it long enough. And if it's not the case, you're the one rare fortunate person, and you should be very grateful that that has not happened to you, and it's going to happen to you. So you have to make sure that, hey, I'm up to this challenge, and I make sure that I create my own sanity. I make sure that I'm a happy person, and I'm going to be grateful throughout the process. Because if you're not, look around. I want you to look at senior faculty at most universities. There's some that are very grateful and very nice. There's a chunk of them, but there's also there's a large chunk of them, perhaps more, I don't know, that are not doing very good. And you have to be well aware of that and what is driving those dynamics. There's not a lot of careers where you're going to see this. It's something like going into a very competitive law firm. And you have to be well aware that it's very much like that. So you're going to experience those things, and make sure that you're well aware of that. There's a reason why universities have a very large counseling services. Trust me, there's very much a reason for that. That competitive feeling of getting into med school, whatever you're looking at, that does not go away when you're in academia. It's always there, and that just continues to grow and develop, and it becomes a bigger thing. And so you have to learn to manage that, to be a good and nice person. So the second thing that you need to be very, very aware of is just have a very good sense of character on interviews. And I know that's a developed skill. It's hard to sort of identify those things. But, this is the third thing that sort of relates to it. Is just be very sensitive to the small things that you experience. Just really look out for really small things. Are doors closed? Are people friendly? Do they say hi to each other? Is there real sort of tension in the air? Is it that you feel attacked when you go into it? Like, just be really, really just cognizant of those things. It's hard to do, and I'm not good at those, but I'm sort of developing this, and I'm developing this capability as I get older. But really, really pay attention to that kind of stuff. That stuff really matters. And it's going to help out a lot in your career if you're sort of very sensitive to those things. That's going to make or break, what happens to you, and it's going to make or break what your experience is with this. So be very, very sensitive to those things. The small things truly matter, and that's going to be a signal of what is going on, because there's a lot of implicit things that are not easy to observe. The culture is kind of very hidden in a lot of ways. And so you can't observe those things until you've sort of been in it, and then you start realizing, oh boy. And you just be careful with that kind of stuff. I know that you don't want to hear this, but just be on the lookout for all of these kind of things. It is going to, you really have to pay attention to that. And I know it's hard advice, but this is advice that you really should take seriously. Do you really want this in your career? And then think about all those sort of small things and pick up on those small things. Be sensitive to all of those things. It's going to help you out. So hopefully this helps you out. It's very hard advice. I don't like doing this because it's like opening up the kimono, so to speak. But you have to address it as part of the career. All right, so take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.